You've heard the saying, he who findeth a wife findeth a good thing. It's a classic line, right?
Definitely.
But what does a good thing actually mean? Like today, in relationships and marriage, is it just finding someone or is it deeper?
Yeah, that's the core question.
So today we're going to do a deep dive into what it takes to find that good thing, but also, importantly, how to be that good thing and how to build it.
Exactly. And our mission here is really to pull together insights from some really thoughtful conversations we've looked at. We're unpacking the qualities, the character, and, the preparation that often gets missed.
Preparation for both men and women, right?
Or both, yeah.
Yeah.
To build these like enduring, purposeful partnerships. We're going to challenge some of the noise you hear online too.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of that.
A lot. About what works or what supposedly stops things before they start. We want to focus more on the practical in the trenches stuff of making a marriage fulfilling.
Okay, let's get into it. Where do we start?
Our sources seem to highlight one quality pretty strongly, especially for women: selflessness, which feels countercultural almost.
It does, especially now, with so much emphasis on career, financial independence, all that, which is great, but the source brings up this fascinating idea called the switch.
The switch. Tell me about that.
Well, the idea is that many women, particularly successful, ambitious women who are used to calling the shots at work, directing teams, they can find it hard to flip a switch when they get home.
Bringing that work energy into the relationship.
Kind of, yeah, bringing that same, directive energy. And the sources suggest men might have more practice with this kind of code switching.
Yeah.
Corporate talk versus home talk, or how you talk with the guys versus at home.
Okay.
But for women, if this switch isn't managed, it can apparently cause friction, maybe even damage things early on.
Why is that specific transition so tricky, you think? Especially now. Well, maybe because success today often reinforces being directive, being in charge. But selflessness here, as the sources describe it, isn't about just agreeing to everything. It's more like a strategic awareness.
Strategic. How so?
Like knowing when to yield space, when to take a back seat sometimes, as one source puts it. It's about being able to accept what your partner values instead of projecting your own stuff onto him and then
Getting mad when he doesn't match it.
exactly villainizing him, as the source says, for not aligning perfectly with your vision.
So it's not weakness.
Yeah.
The perspective here is more like submission is delegation, a conscious choice.
Precisely. It's framed as a powerful delegation, a choice. You're creating space for him to step into certain roles, like protector, provider, allowing him to handle things.
So the attitude is everything, really.
Absolutely. It's paramount, which, brings us to the whole online thing.
Right, because his attitude is key. What about the online world where everyone's got a platform, everyone's an expert?
Well, the sources point out that can lead to low perspective taking,
Yeah.
an unwillingness to really listen. If you've got thousands of people telling you you're right all the time.
Yeah, accepting correction.
Yeah.
Even when you're wrong. That gets hard.
Super hard. You get used to people, validating everything.
And the deep dive suggests there's a pretty stark consequence for women if that unwilling attitude persists. Something about categorization.
Yeah, it suggests men might quickly decide, okay, this interaction is recreational use only. Like they make the call a long time ago.
Yeah.
If they don't see potential for a real partnership because of that attitude.
Wow. Okay. That's true.
And it cuts against a lot of the online messages women get, doesn't it? The fear-based stuff.
Totally. Got to have your own. Can't trust a man to lead.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Exactly. Which can then make women resistant to leadership, even from guys who seem genuinely capable and good. And the reality check here is that successful men with options...
You're probably not looking to take on a major renovation project.
Basically, yeah. They're unlikely to want to build your humility from the ground up, as the source puts it. They don't feel they have to.
Okay, so we've talked about selflessness, willingness, the switch for women. But it takes two, obviously. What about preparation for men? What turns off a guy who's actually centered in his purpose?
Good question. The sources flag a few things. First, a woman who isn't really operating in her purpose seems kind of lost, directionless.
Why is that a turnoff for a purpose-driven guy?
Because he's building something. If she doesn't have her own sense of direction, it's hard to see how she fits into that build, maybe. Another thing mentioned is narrow-mindedness.
Like thinking you know it all?
Yeah, or knowing a lot, but only about this much, that feeling of having nothing to learn. If a man sees himself as a leader, he probably also values being taught learning together. Hard to do if one person thinks they're done learning.
That makes sense. And it ties into how men apparently see marriage, like, as a reflection of my leadership.
Right. So if a woman seems like she'll get in the way of him leading effectively, again, not controlling, but guiding the partnership, then it's probably not going far.
And this links back to submission as delegation, like a CEO hiring good people.
Exactly. But it's reciprocal, right? Men need to learn from women, too. The sources stress that.
So how does that square with the idea of coachability being crucial for women? The Michael Jordan analogy comes up.
Yeah, the MJ analogy. Basically, even the best coach can't teach someone to dunk if they fundamentally can't jump high enough or maybe aren't willing to do the exercises.
So willingness and capability.
Right. And the source suggests a lack of coachability might sometimes stem from a lack of respect for men, maybe rooted in personal history.
Like absent fathers or women having to step into traditionally male roles out of necessity.
Yeah, having to roll up her sleeve, pick up that hammer, as they put it. It can build this ingrained resistance, maybe unconsciously, to letting a man lead in certain ways.
Okay. And this connects to another point that maybe women sometimes don't know what they're looking for in a leader, or they're not seeing the right evidence. What evidence should they look for?
The advice is to look for the good fruit in his life before getting deeply involved.
Good fruit,
Like, is he standing on his square? Is he generous? Patient? Is he coachable? Submitted to mentors? Involved in community? Things you can actually observe.
right. Not just potential, but actual observable action.
Exactly. There's a great analogy. If you don't know how to make pie or even clean the fruit, you won't know what to do with it when you get it.
Meaning.
Meaning, if a woman isn't rooted in her own purpose, she might not even recognize or appreciate a man who is rooted in his.
Got it. So for the guys then, the advice is put your purpose ahead of you. What does that look like practically? The term husbandry comes up.
Yeah, husbandry. It's presented as more than just finding a wife. It's about the man cultivating his own domain first. His work, finances, spiritual foundation, his community impact, building an estate, so to speak.
A solid foundation she can join and add to.
That seems to be the idea. Building something stable, being aligned with your calling. The man is seen as an ingredient in the marriage if the ingredient isn't right.
The whole dish is off.
Pretty much. The source is blunt. If a man doesn't know his purpose, marriage is a far stretch. And the wrong partner. They won't just not add, they'll subtract from his work, maybe even ruin your life.
That's heavy. And part of this male preparation involves breaking some deep programming, the trained sniper thing.
Ah, yeah, the trained sniper programming. It's this idea that young men are often conditioned subtly or not to be good at, well, pulling attractive women, focusing on the chase, the sexual conquest.
And society kind of reinforces that. Peers, maybe even family sometimes.
Yeah, peers, family, even women sometimes, the source argues, by inadvertently rewarding those player behaviors even while saying they want something else.
So how does a guy break that? It sounds deeply ingrained.
The sources suggest it often takes a significant catalyst, like being responsible for someone else's well-being, where a woman's livelihood is dependent on how we move, or just the sheer pain of losing a great woman because of those old behaviors.
So reality bites, basically.
Yeah. That reprogramming is essential. What got you praise before being a player becomes a huge liability in a committed marriage.
Because marriage has to become his new identity. Right?
Yeah.
Not just one part of his life.
Exactly. His business life, social life, married life, they shouldn't be compartmentalized. They bleed into each other. His whole value system shifts
From pulling women.
to taking pride in family stuff, like having the best lawn, taking the family on trips, going to the kids' gymnastics, seeing himself and his kids. That becomes the new source of validation.
And a huge part of that new identity is vulnerability.
Crucial. Being able to say, I messed up, or I need help. Maybe even suggesting counseling. Not having to be the stoic problem solver all the time.
Creating a safe space.
A vital safe space, yeah. Especially, as mentioned, for men in communities where showing weakness is heavily judged, which can contribute to mental health crises.
Okay, so purpose, reprogramming, vulnerability. It sounds like marriage demands a lot of discipline.
Immense discipline. The source calls it for disciplined people. It requires a greater level of discipline than being single.
Because you're constantly thinking about someone else.
In every single thing that you do, yeah. Every decision. And it's not always going to feel amazing.
Right, it's not always glitter and gold.
Definitely not. There will be days you, frankly, may not like your spouse much. but the commitment, the covenant holds.
That reverence for marriage feels diminished sometimes today.
This source argues it's been lost. It's seen as just another relationship status, maybe. But it's framed here as a massive undertaking, a covenant about really doing life together.
And with kids, it's a whole different ballgame.
Absolutely. Which makes those conflict resolution skills non-negotiable. You have to work through stuff to avoid resentment, temptation.
Which, again, pushes back against those online narratives. The high value this, low value that.
Exactly. That stuff is called unhealthy because it discourages the actual work and preparation needed. One married woman quoted says her marriage is complementary, sacrifice, compromise, collaboration, not this immature princess treatment idea.
It's about partnership, not just getting your needs met.
Right. And modeling that for kids is huge. They learn how to handle conflict, how to be selfless by watching their parents. The bottom line is stark. A union doesn't work with a me mindset.
So, knowing who you're marrying before you marry them is key. Vetting. Both speakers in the source stress that.
Deep vetting, yeah. They knew who they were dealing with before that. I do. That person you see before the wedding. That's who you chose.
How do you vet that deeply, though? It seems like people rush or focus on the wrong things.
Well, it ties back to adaptability and humility, maybe.
Wow.
Selflessness gives you that versatility to handle the trials marriage throws at you. Humility lets you hear criticism without crumbling and communicate effectively.
Focusing on being together, not being right.
Exactly. It's about winning together.
Which leads to that team analogy. She's on your team. Ignoring her counsel is like chopping off one of your arms.
Powerful image, isn't it? And the question posed is sharp. Do you want to win? Or would you rather be the star on a losing team?
Oof. That hits home. Because winning takes work, right? Like the 4 a.m. gym sessions, the film study after a loss.
It takes effort, discipline, swallowing your pride sometimes. Ego often gets in the way, fear of vulnerability, or just not getting the strategic advantage of a real partner.
So let's talk more about that advantage. What's the wife's specific contribution to his purpose, his growth? Security comes up first.
Yeah, providing that safety net for you to fall back on. Knowing she's solid allows a man to take calculated risks, make sacrifices.
Because she's in the trenches right with me.
Exactly. It's not like superficial dating where things might end if the benefits dry up. This is commitment.
She's described as an asset, not just a partner, helping with weaknesses.
Yeah, shoring up weaknesses, being able to step in and quarterback the situation where he might not be strongest. And again, providing that non-judgmental safe space.
Where he can be truly vulnerable. Talk about struggles, needing help.
Without fear of judgment. That's huge. And then there's counsel. She is his counsel.
The Proverbs quote, "Where there is no guidance, the people fall, but in abundance of counselors, there is victory."
Right. Her insight, her wisdom is presented as crucial for the completion of your mission. It's described as a 10-foot perspective.
Like seeing the whole painting when he's too close.
Exactly. Seeing details, connections, potential pitfalls he might miss because he's right up against the canvas.
Yeah.
Her protection is essential, starting metaphorically from the womb, providing coverage.
So he should be asking her, hey, does this look crazy from over there?
What would look right? Yeah, leaning on that different perspective.
So the conclusion is pretty strong. Real success, the dub, is virtually impossible without her input, her partnership.
It's framed not just as happy wife, happy life, but as clear instructions for achieving the mission, for victory.
Wow. Okay, so wrapping this up, we've really dug into a lot. Selflessness, that switch, perspective, purpose for both men and women, the discipline required.
Mutual respect, counsel, vulnerability. It's clear marriage, when approached this way, is this profound, transformative partnership. It needs active, intentional work from both sides.
Definitely not passive. So as we close out this deep dive, here's something to chew on. The original saying hints there's a different type of favor that comes with finding that good thing.
That's interesting.
What might that deeper favor actually entail for you? And maybe more importantly, what does it mean to truly earn it through that dedication to your purpose and to your partner? Something to think about.